Sorry, Jane Aarin. Sorry, Jane
What's up, everybody? It's the Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast, back for another week. This will be the 2019 off-season Week 1 podcast for the NFL season. I am your host, Alex Leak. I got Stoyo.
Hello.
And Aaron.
What's up, guys?
And let's get into it. Aaron, it's his first time on the podcast, so we're interested to see his takes. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot, guys. Glad to be here. Love what you're doing, Alex. I've always been supportive of you, and just keep doing it, man. You're doing a great job.
Yeah, I really appreciate all the support from everyone on Facebook and Twitter and social media, so really appreciate everyone along the path. All right, let's get into it. Today, breaking news, the Broncos trade for Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco. The trade will not be official until March 13. Denver's GM John Elway putting his management future in the hands of the former Super Bowl MVP Joe Flacco, although that seems kind of far away, that Super Bowl MVP. Stoyo, do you believe that this is an upgrade for the Broncos over Case Keenum?
I don't think so. I think they're pretty much on the same level.
Yeah.
I think that Flacco is over the hill, and that's a questionable move by John Elway.
Yeah, and I would add to a list of questionable moves by John Elway in the recent history. Aaron, what do you think of it? Do you think this helps Denver in the short term?
I think it could help him in the short term, yes. I think it's more of a kind of a leadership thing. You know, he's kind of been there. He's kind of won.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, he brought in Tebow and he did all this other stuff, and I don't know. I think you got to try to build new from the draft, trade something. I don't know. It might work out. It might not. I hope it does. I like Elway, so.
And he's joining. I mean, Flacco's going to have another good defense. He had a good defense in Baltimore. He's going to have, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, those guys. The Ravens are committing to quarterback Lamar Jackson as the franchise quarterback with this move. Aaron, who do you see has the brighter future? Do you think the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, which team will be better next year? The Ravens with Lamar Jackson or the Broncos with Joe Flacco, in your opinion?
I think the Ravens will be better. From what I saw from Lamar, I think he'll be okay. He's young, he's athletic.
Yeah.
So they definitely got to upgrade. He can move around out of the pocket and he can throw. So I mean, that'll be okay with them. I think with Denver, you're just burying a guy that's mediocre in your defense and hope your defense stays healthy and can control the ball. If he's turning the ball over, I mean, you're not going to win much games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's you need somebody to control the clock on both sides. So.
Absolutely, and I think that Denver was a couple wins left on the table last year where if Case Keenum could have just made a throw. I remember him missing an open Demaryius Thomas against the Chiefs. If Flacco can make those throws, turnovers aside, I think the turnovers are going to happen, but if he can make those key throws in big moments, maybe they can sneak out a couple wins. Who do you think's better next year, so Ravens or Broncos?
I agree with Aaron, definitely the Ravens.
Yeah.
I love what the Ravens have done to have extended their coach.
Yep.
I'm kind of surprised they moved this quickly from Flacco, but I like it because I've been Lamar Jackson fan for a while now.
Yep.
And I want him to do good. And it was quite interesting seeing the Ravens run so much last season, and
they went old school with it, all those runs, man.
I'm a fan of the old school football defense and running the ball, so yeah, I definitely would pick the Ravens over the Broncos.
Would you guys still, I know they brought in Flacco, they still have Case Keenum, we'll see if they keep him around, but would you still draft a quarterback? In my opinion, if I'm Denver, I'm still drafting a young quarterback, just in case Flacco doesn't work out, like in Baltimore. Denver owns the 10th pick, and if there's a quarterback there, I've heard Elway is all in on that Drew Lock from Missouri. His obsession over Drew Lock is supposed to be the worst kept secret on the draft boards. Aaron, do you think they should draft a quarterback as well?
I don't know if you necessarily should. I mean, you're making a trade for a quarterback that you think is going to be, or you're hoping is going to be able to get you through for a couple years, or you've got Keenum. He's a pretty solid backup. I think he would be all right. I mean, I don't know who their running back is. I haven't really followed Denver, so I mean, maybe you go that way, or their defense could be getting older.
Yeah.
So maybe lean that way, or trade down and get some more picks to help your team other ways.
Yeah, I agree. I think the defense could be getting a little older. I like Philip Lindsay, that undrafted running back, kind of took off.
Unfortunately, he got hurt.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Von Miller is not going to be Von Miller for too much longer. So if you want to compete, this is the time. But for me, you own the 10th pick, and to get a good starting QB, that's basically what you have to do, is to be in the top 5 or top 10. Like, he drafted, I believe, Paxton Lynch towards the end of the first round.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of average QBs are found. So to win in the NFL, you need to get a really good QB.
Yep, the Ravens will take a $16 million dead cap hit with this trade to move on from Flacco. Elway needs to get this one right. He's feeling the heat after some questionable moves. Since signing Peyton Manning, Elway has drafted Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, and signed Case Keenum. None of those really home run hits.
Not so much.
You a big Osweiler fan, Aaron?
No, I think he's
average.
He's average. Average. He can, if a guy gets hurt or whatever, he can come in and, he could make you tread water, I guess, but he's not going to get you to that next level, I don't think,
Yeah, the biggest thing with some of these quarterbacks is just consistency. It's like they can show flashes, but can they do it every game? Let's go to the Cleveland Browns, signing free agent running back Kareem Hunt to a 1-year deal, adding to the running back room of Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson. Hunt will be suspended when the NFL's investigation into him kicking a woman on camera is finalized. For a first-time offense, expect a 6-game suspension. Were you surprised by this move, Stoyo?
Yes, and I was more surprised by Hunt signing in Cleveland because of Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
But John Dorsey drafted him,
Yeah.
and he's a big believer in him. I may think that it's a little bit quick of a sign, especially after what happened. I don't think he has really learned from that incident yet, because this is not just a one incident thing. He had 3 fighting incidents last season.
Yep.
Only one was caught on camera.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's quick, and I kind of thought it was going to take maybe another 6 months or so.
According to people close to Hunt's been in rehab ever since it happened for alcohol, and he's trying to get his life together. So they said he's been making progress. We'll see if it works out. Do you like this move for the Browns, Aaron?
I think it'll be all right. I wasn't surprised he got signed. I'm a little shocked with Cleveland because they've had some issues with players and stuff like that in the past with Josh Gordon and stuff like that. I thought maybe he would go somewhere where he has stability and somebody that's gonna
leadership around him.
Yeah. I say the Patriots, but Josh Gordon went there and you see what happened there. So I don't know. I mean, it could work out. You kind of two-headed running back game. I mean that
could be nasty.
That's the way to go. I mean, maybe they know something that we don't. That he might not get 6 games. He might get 3 or 2, or who knows what's going to happen with that. So I mean, maybe. I don't know. I believe in second chances, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, domestic stuff like that, I'm kind of on the fence on. So kind of I don't like how the NFL gets involved with it right away. Just kind of let it take its course and then kind of
let the legal side go through it and all that. Yeah, Kareem Hunt. The difference between Kareem Hunt and Ray Rice is Hunt is so much more valuable. Hunt is so much more having success in the league. And that's the thing. If the NFL should just admit it, it's not about what you've done, what you've committed. Really, it's about can your on the field talent outweigh your off the field distraction. And in this case, the Browns feel like it will. We'll see. I agree with Aaron that it would make sense if Hunt was in a more stable environment, but I think John Dorsey feels like he can be that. Kareem Hunt grew up in Cleveland, so that's his hometown, so maybe going back home, he can figure it out. So we'll see what happens there. But the Browns, all right, Stoyo, say it works out. The Browns are really starting to get talented, offensively especially, and they got Denzel Ward, Myles Garrett on defense. Baker Mayfield had a good rookie year. You give him Hunt and Chubb to go with Callaway and Jarvis Landry and these guys, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think that Cleveland is tired of losing. Last season, they came close to being 500.
Yeah.
And I'll say I was wrong about Baker Mayfield. I thought he was too small, but apparently he's not.
Yeah.
And yeah, that offense should be really good to have good pieces on defense. Myles Garrett, former number 1 pick overall, is just a beast. And yeah.
Yeah.
I would almost say that Cleveland has a shot to make the playoffs next season.
Yeah, with the way the Steelers are looking like they might lose Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. Yeah. Aaron, what's your thoughts on Baker Mayfield? Do you like him? You think he's a franchise quarterback?
I like him. He's a winner. I mean, he goes out and wins. I'm just going to go on the record right now. I think they're going to win 9 games next year.
Nice. Be above 500?
Yeah, I think so. They just need a couple pieces. They're young, and they just need stability in that locker room. Baker's there's a learning curve there, I guess. He's gonna make some mistakes, but I think he's gonna grow and continue to get better, and I think they've got a good chance now.
Would you guys feel better? This is my thought process here. I was really surprised when the Browns hired Freddie Kitchens as the head coach.
Yeah.
I thought that he's a good offensive coordinator, but imagine if they had hired Mike McCarthy. Would you feel better about this Browns team going into the year if they had Mike McCarthy?
Absolutely. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning coach, a proven offensive mind. He got the best out of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I would feel much, much better. But that's the one questionable move I've seen from Cleveland. Yeah. And if history says anything, Cleveland has been known to make horrible moves after horrible moves. So one questionable move in an offseason, that's like such progress for the Browns.
That's a good offseason, yeah. Let's go to the Steelers. Star wide receiver Antonio Brown has officially asked the Steelers to be traded. Brown is just 30 years old, still in his prime. On Tuesday, Brown posted a video of his highlights as a Steeler on Twitter with the caption, quote, "Thank you, Steeler Nation, for a big 9 years. Time to move on and forward. Hashtag new demands." Brown also tweeted on Wednesday, quote, "Don't be tolerated, be celebrated," end quote. Aaron, what do you make of Antonio Brown asking out of Pittsburgh?
I'm not a big fan of guys demanding trades and wanting trades and I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. Like, yeah. They knew they had issues. He had some issues going in. Like, just, like it seems like they were trying to cover up everything. I would have gotten rid of him sooner. And I wouldn't listen to him and say that if he says, I want to be traded here, I would just get rid of him and I would take him to wherever I can get the best deal. I wouldn't even care where it was. Yeah. As a Bears fan, I would love to have him as a player because he's great, but I don't want the headache and the stuff that he brings to the locker room. I just feel like he's a cancer at this point. Like, he's good, but he's not like top 10, top 20 all-time receivers, I don't think. So, I mean, that's like, just shut up and play, and you know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that.
It's a conundrum. It's a real problem, especially in today's age of the players when the drama comes with it. If you look at the stats, check this out. AB has 6 straight 100-catch seasons, longest in NFL history. He has the most catches through 130 games through 130 career games in NFL history with 837 and over 9,000 receiving yards the last 6 seasons. That's the most in a 6-year span in NFL history.
But you're gonna get that when you're the only receiver really that they've got. You know, they don't really have a ground. Don't have a ground game like they used to with Bettis and stuff like that. And Roethlisberger just loves to throw the ball. So I mean, you put anybody in a situation like that, I mean, they're gonna have a lot of yards. Don't get me wrong. You know, he's doing it, but
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's the headache that comes with it. Roethlisberger is a hell of a quarterback, so that was a good combo. We'll see if Antonio Brown, if the grass is truly greener on the other side, depending on if he goes to San Francisco, Garoppolo, or what he does. Stoyo, what do you make of Antonio Brown? I mean, those are some astronomical numbers that he's put up in Pittsburgh.
Absolutely. To me, AB is still an elite wide receiver. I would say top 5, maybe even top 3. He may be a little bit older. He's 30 now, but last season he still destroyed. And there's something going on in Pittsburgh. If you cannot keep your star wide receiver and running back 2 studs, then there's an issue. I understand that AB comes with off-the-field problems and locker room problems, but that's just being a wide receiver in the NFL. Most elite wide receivers in the NFL are divas, except for Larry Fitzgerald. So, yeah, he is a headache, but like you said earlier, the NFL is all about seeing how much of a headache you are to how much you can produce.
Yes.
And at some point, if it's 50-50, you'll get cut.
Yeah.
But right now, I think he had 15 TDs last season in 15 games and like 1,300 yards.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, those numbers are great numbers. And I would take him on the Bears in a heartbeat.
I think he just needs to be a little bit more diplomatic about the way he does things. You don't need to put everything out there like that, you know, just kind of behind closed doors, or if you do that and then they're kind of disrespecting you or don't, you know, then maybe go public. But I don't like the whole, you know, the whole going public thing and stuff like that. Calling out people, I'm not a big fan of that. That just ruins the locker room, and that just turns people off to you, I think.
Yeah, you can't do that unless you're 100% on the way out the door. And I mean, if you remember, this all started because of the fact that Antonio Brown went AWOL for a must-win Week 17 divisional game against the Bengals after a confrontation at practice with Big Ben. That was a game that if they won and the Ravens lost, the Steelers would have been in the playoffs. But they missed out on the playoffs. I think if you're Pittsburgh, you absolutely move on from Antonio Brown. Get what you can, because you can still get a lot for this receiver right now.
Yep.
The 49ers are rumored to be the favorite to land Antonio Brown, along with rumors to Denver, possibly, Green Bay, New England, and Chicago. Of those 4, where would you like to see him go, Aaron?
I'd love to have him in Chicago. I wouldn't want him on Green Bay because I'm
Oh man,
not
I don't want to see
fan,
that.
Bears fan.
Yeah.
I'd like to see him go to the Patriots.
Man,
just so Belichick could put him in his place, kind of.
that would be interesting.
You know he's not going to tolerate that. And, you know Brady's not going to tolerate that. You know, so that's kind of what I would want to see. Like, you know, just somebody like kind of check him a little bit. You know, and then, you know, then you'll see. You know, if he tones down or you know how he's going to act. But I'd like to see him there. Give Brady a couple more years and give him a true number 1.
Man, I absolutely hope that doesn't happen. I don't want to see Brady with a weapon like Antonio Brown, although it would be fun to watch, but
No,
I'm
maybe 7 rings.
I'm tired of watching New England dominate. I would like to see him in Chicago. I really do. I think that we have a good locker room leadership like set up now. I think that Khalil Mack does a real good job of leading. And I think that Nagy, it might be a little interesting with a young head coach and a young quarterback and a big, flamboyant star wide receiver, but his production would be worth it. That's for damn sure.
I would take AB, especially if he can kick.
That's exactly.
All right, let's go to the Houston Texans releasing veteran wide receiver Demaryius Thomas. He's 31 years old, only a year older than Antonio Brown, but the production has definitely dropped off. Thomas suffered a torn Achilles in December after being traded from Denver to help Houston's wide receiver depth going into the playoffs. Thomas says, quote, he is not thinking about retirement, end quote. Stoyo, does Demaryius still have some life left in him?
Yes, but as a number 2 wide receiver, not as a number 1.
Yeah. What do you think, Aaron? You like Demaryius Thomas still?
I think he'd be a good asset to a team. Like Stoyo said, not a number 1, maybe 2 or 3, just so he's not out there for, so many snaps or so many plays. Just that kind of possession receiver where you need a big catch or, something like that.
Yeah.
You could use him.
Yeah, absolutely. Draft prospect out of Oklahoma, quarterback Kyler Murray, has announced he plans to enter the NFL draft and pursue career as quarterback, choosing NFL over MLB. He's already been drafted by the Oakland A's and taken money from them, but decides he's going to go NFL. Do you believe this is the right decision, Stoyo? Murray is listed on NFL.com at 5'10", 195 pounds. Some say he looks even smaller in person. I think that with with that size and weight, you would be better off in baseball with the guaranteed contracts and all that. You've already been drafted, but he wants to play quarterback. You think he can get it done in the pros?
I think so. I mean, I used to have an issue with small QBs, but the game has changed, and it's much more in favor of offense, and you can't really hit the QB as much as you could before.
Yeah.
So durability is not that huge of an issue. Can he be the next Russell Wilson? Russell Wilson is also 5'11".
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know if I would draft him in the top 5, like he is rumored to go. I think he chose with his heart, and he chose football instead of baseball. Baseball, you have a chance of having a much longer career, but if it was up to me, I would definitely choose to be the starting QB over a pitcher.
Yeah. I think that he wants the attention that comes with being a franchise quarterback and all that.
And also, if you think about it, he could play football for a decade and then could play baseball.
Yeah.
That's possible.
There's a big comparison between Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson, and I think, what makes Russell Wilson great is his ability to never really get hit hard. He's great at sliding before the contact or getting out of bounds, and he protects himself. He doesn't get hurt that often that way, and if Kyler Murray can do that same thing, then he can be successful, but if he can't, maybe he'll be another RG3. So it's hard to say. What do you think, Aaron? You think Kyler? I think that, knowing you, I think you would rather see Kyler Murray play baseball.
Yeah, I think I would have liked to have seen him play baseball, but honestly, I don't think he was really that great of a baseball player anyways. I think he only batted like 122 or something.
Oh, wow.
Like in 17, and he batted like 290 or something, I think, in 18 or whatever. But I mean, you're the less likelihood of getting hurt, and yeah, he is on the smaller side.
Yeah.
And but I mean, Drew Brees is only like 6 foot, and they said, I was listening to today, I can't remember what show it was, but this season he only had 5 batted balls.
Yes. Which is low.
Which is really low for being that short, because he can move.
Yeah.
He can move and make the pocket bigger and kind of do his thing there. I mean, give it a shot. I mean, what's it going to hurt? You can always go back to baseball. I mean, Russell Wilson's tried, and
had success.
He trains and whatever with those guys and stuff. So, I mean,
go for it.
Go for it, I guess. I'm kind of indifferent.
Yeah, I think he needs to. He did sign his agent. Eric Burkhart is now Kyler Murray's agent. I wish he had signed him, maybe a week earlier before that Dan Patrick Show interview, because that was a train wreck. But He comes on the show and doesn't have an answer for anything. He's just silent. And it was the weirdest thing in the world, but he signed Eric Burkhardt as his agent, which just so happens to be the same agent as Cardinals' new head coach Cliff Kingsbury, who the Cardinals own the number 1 overall pick. And Kingsbury was quoted in October as saying if he had the number 1 overall pick, he would draft Kyler Murray. Kingsbury says, quote, Josh Rosen is our guy, end quote. Do you agree? Is that the right decision? Or do you think Kingsbury is really going to think about drafting Kyler Murray number 1?
I don't know.
I don't think they draft him.
Yeah.
It's
I
hard
don't think they will. I mean, what's the next team that needs a quarterback, really, honestly? I mean, I was kind of looking at that today, and I don't even really know a team. The Raiders don't. I think they're up there. The Cardinals don't need one.
I'd say maybe
the Bills
Jacksonville
don't need one.
might draft one.
Maybe. But, I mean, they're going to win like their first 4 games, and then they're going to just fall apart anyway, so it doesn't really matter what they do. So,
yeah.
You know, so, I mean, there's not really very many teams unless you're one of the teams that's got an aging quarterback, Drew Brees. Maybe they trade up to try to get him, or you know what I mean.
What about the
Something
New York
like that.
Giants? Eli getting old.
I don't know what they're gonna. They're just all over the place. I don't even know what to think about them anymore. So
tell Farmer Alex to get off that train. The Giants are going nowhere.
I don't know.
No. I like the Giants' young core of Saquon and Odell, and you give them a quarterback, who knows? But to your point, Aaron, that was a real good point on the balls batted down at the line. Everyone says that smaller quarterbacks can't see over the offensive line, which Murray had big offensive linemen at Oklahoma, where he had a lot of success. And he only had 5 passes batted down. Duke's Daniel Jones, who is 6'5", had 12 passes batted down, and Joe Flacco, who is listed as 6'6", led the NFL in passes batted down. So it seems, Stoyo, that passes batted down has nothing to do with your height.
It does not. How about this? What if the Broncos draft Murray with the 10th pick overall?
Yeah.
That would be an interesting situation. Maybe he would go to Cincy at 11, but I feel like somehow the QBs always get drafted in the top 3. Maybe someone will trade up and draft him.
I think he might fall. I really do. He could even fall out of the first round. I think that there hasn't been a lot of hype on it, but I really think this draft is a lot of good quarterbacks. I really do. I think it's deep. I think there's Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne.
Yeah, Kyler Murray, and there's more. There's others. Jared Stidham out of Auburn. There's a few that are coming out, so we'll see how far he falls. So yeah, let's go to the Detroit Lions GM Bob Quinn says team is open to drafting a quarterback with the 8th overall pick. There's another team thinking about drafting a quarterback. Best player available mentality for the Lions. Aaron, do you think the Lions should draft a quarterback at 8?
I would. They're Drew Stafford. He's just a lot of wasted talent, I think, in Detroit, and I think they need to give that kid an opportunity to go somewhere where he's got a chance to win, because he's not going to do it there. I think they just need to blow up that entire team and just start over and just just get something new in there, because obviously Stafford, he's going to put up yards and but they're not going to win. They're not going to go anywhere with him. So
yeah, 0-3.
If you can get something for him, and then rebuild, but give the kid a chance to win somewhere.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I put Matthew Stafford and Andy Dalton in the same category. I really do. Quarterbacks who have real good regular seasons, who at times will even do well enough to get into the playoffs, but then can't get the job done in January when it matters most.
Yep.
Stoyo, do you agree that the Lions should look to move on from Stafford?
From Stafford, from their head coach, from their GM, from their owner, that whole team needs a fresh start.
You're not a Martha Ford fan?
I'm not a Lions fan, never have been.
All right. The Dolphins officially hire Brian Flores as head coach, former Patriots linebacker coach / defensive coordinator. So he's the first head coach to leave Bill Belichick and the Patriots and stay within the division since Eric Mangini did it with the Jets. So maybe some bad blood. Maybe we will see some icy handshakes from Belichick and Flores coming up next year. Are you looking forward to that, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think he's got respect for Belichick, but maybe he's just got something to prove. Like he's kind of always been in like the shadow of him a little bit, and maybe he just wants to beat him, or kind of student against teacher kind of thing, you know. So I mean, it might be good for football. I mean,
yeah, I like
who
it.
knows?
Hopefully Miami can turn it around. Bengals officially hire head coach Zach Taylor, former Rams quarterback coach, one of those coveted McVay coaching tree guys. I don't know how coveted it is anymore after you got held to 3 in the Super Bowl, but what do you think, Stoyo? Zach Taylor, a good hire for the Bengals?
I mean, he has to be better than Marvin Lewis, so it has to be a setup for me, and I'm not sure. I'm not a whole buyer on the Sean McVay coaching tree just yet.
Yeah.
And it is the sexy thing to do. Oh, let's hire young offensive minds and see what happens. I think the NFL is just a copycat, and there's only so many geniuses in the NFL. So
yeah, they're rare, and some people are proclaimed geniuses before maybe it's worthy, you know.
For sure.
Falcons hire former Chiefs defensive coordinator Bob Sutton as senior assistant to help the Atlanta defense, who we all know has their issues. They need to get a lot better. Head coach Dan Quinn will continue to play call on defense. Atlanta signs former Cowboy linebacker Bruce Carter to a 1-year extension, and the Falcons release kicker Matt Bryant at the age of 43. Aaron, Bears are looking for a kicker. Do you think Matt Bryant at the age of 43 can get it done in crappy Soldier Field? He's more of a dome kicker for his career.
Did you say that they were looking at him, or
no?
They get Gold back.
The Falcons.
Robbie's a free agent, so
Falcons just released him. But yeah, if we can get Robbie Gould, I'd rather have him.
Yeah, I mean, anything is better than nothing at this point. I mean, to me, the Bears should have got rid of Parkey after he missed those kicks in Detroit.
Absolutely.
I would have not.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
I think that any kicker is better than anything right now. So just if you can get him, I mean, 43 years old or not, kickers are. I mean, they can kick until they're 50 years old. So
yeah,
or something. I mean, give him a shot.
Anything's better than Parkey.
Yep.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt Bryant? Is that a reasonable option?
I think that's a more reasonable option than Robbie Gould.
Yeah.
Robbie Gould was the most accurate kicker last year, and I don't see Ryan Pace re-signing Robbie after he got rid of him. I would prefer Robbie for sure, but I just don't think it's going to be a possibility.
If you're San Francisco, why would you let him go?
Exactly.
So, we'll see.
He's a free agent, though, so, I mean, anything's possible. So.
It is true. We'll see where he ends up. But, yeah, he's got to be the most coveted kicker in the game this offseason. Panthers signed safety Eric Reed to a 3-year extension worth $22 million. Reed still attempting to prove that he was targeted unfairly in random drug testing last season, which is a load of crap. But anyways, do you think this is a good sign for the Panthers, Stoyo?
For sure, he's a good player. Has a few years left in him, and I would have taken him as a replacement for Adrian Amos.
Yeah. You like Eric Reed in Carolina, Aaron?
I honestly can tell you I've never really heard of the guy until he started complaining about the random drug test thing.
What'd you think of that? Do you think there's something to it?
I don't know. I mean, could be, could not be. I mean, it seems strange. I don't know how many times he's been. Was it like 5 or 7 times or something like that? He got.
It was a lot.
I mean, to me, it seems something's a little fishy. But if you've had a reoccurring theme, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, You know
Yeah.
it could happen, so why even risk it?
Yeah, absolutely. Cardinals signed cornerback Robert Alford to a 3-year, $22.5 million deal with $13.5 million guaranteed. Cardinals trying to beef up the defense. Bucks released defensive end Vinny Curry. And Jags extend kicker Josh Lambo to a 4-year extension. Here's something you guys might enjoy. Stoyo, the Packers signed former Chicago Bears great Dick Butkus' nephew, Luke Butkus, as assistant offensive line coach. You like the move for Green Bay?
I love it. Keep signing those undercover agents.
Yeah.
Please destroy that franchise, Butkus.
As many Butkuses as we can get in Green Bay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Aaron? How do you feel about Green Bay bringing in a Butkus?
I mean, whatever they got to do. I mean, obviously, maybe Chicago didn't look at him, but I mean, I'm all for guys getting a job somewhere. I mean, I don't want to. You definitely don't want to see Chicago Bears, great. His kid go somewhere else, but
Yeah. It's good to see him get a
I don't have
job.
a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't really care where it's at, but if he's going to pull some
Break Aaron Rodgers' arm.
offensive line coach, maybe he'll call something. But let's go to ESPN. Stephen A. Smith, once again, showing his lack of football knowledge on his show. It's been a rough couple of months for Stephen A. First, he said that Chargers tight end Hunter Henry was having a great season, even though he got hurt in January and didn't play at all until the playoffs, I believe. Then there was Derek Johnson is still a Chief, which he was never a Chief last year. He was actually a Raider. And then that Kareem Hunt was a Saint, which was way out of left field. And then now, most recently, Stephen A. has said, based on his, quote, eye test, draft prospect quarterback Dwayne Haskins is, quote, more of a runner than a thrower, end quote. A little bit of stats to back that up, or not really back it up. In 2 years at Ohio State, Haskins has thrown for over 5,000 yards and rushed for under 200 yards. So my thing to ESPN is please stop asking Stephen A. Smith football questions and ask someone who actually watches the sport. What do you think on that, Aaron?
I don't like Stephen A. at all. I just think he just likes the sound of his own voice. And I personally, like we were talking before, I personally think he does some of this stuff to get attention, honestly. Like there's other guys that are up and coming that are becoming a little bit more popular than him, I think, and he's just trying to stay relevant.
Yeah, I agree. What do you think? Do they need to stop asking Stephen A. football questions?
Stephen A. Smith, as I call him, yeah, he should stick to the NBA. He doesn't know too much about football, and somehow he's perfectly okay just talking about it, which is standard Stephen A. Smith. A lot of the times when I used to watch his show First Take, I wouldn't even believe that he believes what he's saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Stephen A., go back to the NBA, and we know you're not watching football, so why even comment on it?
But my point is, doesn't ESPN lose a little bit of credibility when they're putting this stuff on their network? And they got Stephen A. giving them their football analysis. Like, come on now. Teddy Bruschi's face says the whole thing.
I mean, we don't have enough time on this podcast to critique everything that's wrong with ESPN because we would be here for hours and hours.
It is true. In my opinion, Dwayne Haskins out of Ohio State is the best quarterback available in the 2019 NFL Draft. And Haskins has said he wants to play for the Giants. Do you think that would be a good fit? Did you watch Haskins at Ohio State a little bit, Aaron?
A little bit, yeah. I think that'd be all right. I mean, he likes to throw the ball. They got a good running game, so
yeah.
I mean, I'd like to see. He would probably be a more better fit than, say, Kyler Murray, perhaps maybe.
Yep.
But we'll see. I guess what happens in the draft, and
yeah.
I mean, anything's possible. We don't even know what's gonna.
Yeah, we're
remotely close to happening. We can speculate, but
we're a ways away from the
happen.
draft. Yeah, we still got the combine and all that. Do you like Dwayne Haskins, Stoyo?
Yeah, but I don't watch much college football, and I haven't done my draft research yet.
Yeah.
But he is probably one of the top prospects